Today, we're talking about the Beretta 1301 family of shotguns. So what's the TLDR? The Beretta 1301 is the best value semi-auto shotgun on the market today. I've put thousands of rounds through this shotgun, and I don't think I've ever had a malfunction. Ever. I've had zero malfunctions despite going over 2 years without cleaning it, while frequently shooting in rain, snowstorms, and other adverse weather common to the Pacific Northwest. It's a smooth shooting shotgun, and the fast cyclic rate means you can pop off accurate follow-up shots very swiftly. TLDR, you should get one. The Beretta 1301 is a gas-operated semi-automatic shotgun known for its extreme reliability and its compelling value. Note that I didn't say cheap, I said value. Value is relative. Most, if not all, semi-auto shotguns that are cheaper than the Beretta 1301 are going to be recoil operated, which is a less desirable configuration. Among autoloaders, the Beretta 1301 claims to be the fastest cycling semi-auto on the market thanks to its, quote, blink operating system. If branded terms like blink and stellium entice you, then you'll love the Beretta 1301's brochure. Stellium is the made-up word that Beretta uses to describe the hammer-forged steel barrel material, and I think the name sounds stupid. When I purchased the 1301, I opted for the comp version intended for multi-gun shooting competitions. While the 1301 in the tactical trim has a lot going for it as well, the somewhat longer barrel and removable choke of the comp version allows me for more flexibility in intended use case. Strange branding and silly stellium name aside, I do love this shotgun, and after many years of hard use, I would never consider selling it. So, Beretta 1301, what are my first impressions? Aesthetically, I really like how the Beretta 1301 looks. It's sleek and well thought out without being pretentious or overly complicated. The stock and forend do feel a little bit plasticky to the touch, but they're well contoured, ergonomic, and have aggressive stippling that makes it easy to grab the shotgun in rain and other adverse conditions. I like that I can change the stock's comb and length of pull. I love the trigger. It's light and crisp, and the bright chrome trigger finish is smooth and adds just a hint of bling to an otherwise very subdued look. The gun cycles extremely fast, so I can pop off very quick follow-up shots. I love that. The recoil is smooth for a fairly light shotgun. I love the balance of the shotgun. It's easy to point. You can just flick from target to target very easily, so it is a really good balance. Guns at more budget-friendly price points routinely fail in 3-gun competitions. So, after having some bad experiences with shotguns that I had either owned or borrowed, I felt it necessary to invest in something higher up in the price category. To the uninitiated, the prospect of an affordable and reliable semi-auto shotgun seems easy enough to achieve. But real-life experience has shown me that there are trade-offs when buying a shotgun. It can be cheap, a shotgun can be reliable, or a shotgun can be semi-automatic. Of the 3 choices I listed, you get to pick 2. So what that means is that you could pick out a shotgun that is both cheap and semi-auto, but it's not going to be reliable. In contrast, you could also pick out a cheap and reliable shotgun that won't be semi-automatic, such as the Mossberg 500 or 590, maybe the Remington 870. So where does this leave us? In my experience, if you want a reliable semi-auto shotgun, you're going to have to spend some money. It seems like it should be simple and easy to make a reliable and affordable semi-auto shotgun. However, when we look at the extremely wide range of ammunition and conditions that shotguns are used in, making a reliable autoloader turns out to be anything but easy. From near freezing waterfowl marshes to high round counts during heated shooting competitions, shotguns have big shoes to fill, especially among hunters, competitors, and civilians from their scatterguns. Of course, I should define what I mean by reliable a bit better. So terms like reliable, value, and affordable all depend on your budget, your priority, and what you're going to use the gun for. Many Second Amendment supporters are gun collectors and/or casual recreational shooters. Leisurely, casual enjoyment of guns and shooting is certainly a valid use case for owning firearms. But casual shooting may not demand the same level of quality, durability, or reliability that a more serious shooter values. Similarly, a collector is probably more interested in the cultural or historical significance, or maybe the visual aesthetic of a firearm, rather than its primary function of shooting things. What's your total firearms budget? Do you need a weapon light and a reliable red dot on your primary rifle first? Probably. How much time will you devote to practicing with a shotgun? If you're a casual shooter who goes hunting a few times a year, your idea of reliable may be different. If you use your shotgun to shoot at watermelons on the 4th of July, maybe you blast pumpkins on Halloween, then maybe a cheap semi-auto will work for you. Better yet, why not just get a reliable pump shotgun? On the other hand, if you expect to shoot thousands of rounds per year out of your shotgun in harsh conditions, using a wide range of ammunition, then your standards might be more like mine. A gas-operated semi-auto shotgun will allow you to shoot faster while mitigating recoil compared to a pump shotgun. I expect flawless, high-level performance from my firearms in all weather. That includes hot, dusty summers, snow and ice in sub-freezing conditions, and Pacific Northwest near-freezing rainstorms. I need my guns to work reliably, especially in foul weather. Is the Beretta 1301 a good deal? Currently, MSRP for the 1301 Comp is around $1,300, $1,675 for the Comp Pro. However, my test gun was purchased for about $900-ish about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. Note that I call the Beretta 1301 a compelling value, but with Turkish shotguns available for half the price or even less, I certainly wouldn't call the Beretta cheap. Beretta currently offers the 1301 in a few different trim levels: Tactical, Comp, and Comp Pro. Cheap is a relative term that also carries a negative connotation that disparages an item's quality. The 1301 is not cheap. But when compared to gas-operated shotguns like the Benelli M4, also owned by Beretta, starting around $2,000, then the 1301 seems like a bargain. If you can find a 1301 Comp at this time, current fair street price is about $1,100, and that's in late fall of 2021. In my opinion, the 1301 is the best bang for the buck, highest value semi-auto shotgun on the market today. It's fast shooting, it's very reliable, the action's smooth, the recoil's manageable, it's easy to point and shoot, transition between targets very quickly. I really love the way it feels. I love the balance of the gun. The Beretta 1301 it truly is amazing. So let's get into the 1301's reliability. So when I purchased the Beretta 1301, the owner's manual explained that it would cycle all rounds with a minimum recommended 1 1/8 ounce for light target loads. So over the past 6 or 7 years, I've found it to be extremely reliable, as I've said many times. In all the rounds I've put through the shotgun, I don't believe that I've ever had a malfunction. So as far as cleaning, I've cleaned this shotgun less than once a year, and it has never failed due to lack of cleaning. I've probably put at least 6,000 or 7,000 rounds through the shotgun, including far more high brass and high power slug rounds than average shooters would. The only reason I've ever cleaned the gun is usually when I need to take it apart, maybe to smooth out, add more room to the loading port for faster quad loads, maybe change accessories, stuff like that. So it's generally the only time I've taken it apart to clean it. I've only had 2 problems with the Beretta 1301 in all my years of ownership and hard use. The first problem was that the brass sight bead came loose. From the factory, the Beretta came with a dual bead, so a big bead out at the muzzle. Halfway down the barrel, it had a smaller brass bead to help you line up your shots. And that brass on their sights, and that's really disappointing. While minor, that issue was the manufacturer's fault. The second issue that I had with the Beretta was actually my fault. So I used this shotgun very frequently in very bad weather, rainstorms, snowstorms, hail, sleet, all of the near freezing moisture that the Pacific Northwest mountains are known for. During these dozens of harsh winter shooting sessions, I did not clean the shotgun for over 2 years. The repeated moisture and lack of lubrication caused the adjustable choke to rust into the barrel. I ended up destroying the choke, getting it out, and I almost ruined the barrel in the process. So thankfully, I was finally able to get the choke out, and I was able to chase the threads and get a replacement choke insert. So the shotgun's good to go, and I can't really blame Beretta for me not cleaning my shotgun for 2 years when I took it out in the rain, took it out in the snow, and just really beat on it pretty hard. If you are going to use a Beretta 1301 or really any other shotgun with a removable choke tube, I would go ahead and take that choke tube out periodically and either oil it, or better yet, I'd put some white lithium grease on the threads and make sure that it's not rusting in place. There's one other problem with the Beretta 1301s that I've witnessed, I've heard rumors of, seen it online, seen pictures of it, but I've not personally experienced, is that the charging handle is plastic covered, and that charging handle can be damaged if the gun is slammed down, dropped onto rocks or concrete. In these scenarios, the plastic portion of the charging handle can be dislodged and jam the gun, cause it not to cycle. So if you're really worried about this, there's a strong aftermarket for the Beretta 1301, and there are affordable all-metal charging handles available that you could buy if you wanted to do that. There is one issue that may or may not be a problem for you, depending on your use case and where you live. So the Beretta 1301's serial number on the one that I got is low on the receiver, such that if you wanted to aggressively cut out material from your receiver, you may end up removing the serial number. Depending on your state laws, removing the serial number might be illegal, or it might keep you from being able to sell or trade that gun later on. So does this matter to you? Probably not. But for your 3-gun shooters that want to aggressively cut up your $1,000 shotgun with a Dremel, the serial placement is kind of a drag. But note, it does look like on the newer versions of the 1301 that they probably moved the serial number to a better spot that would be out of the way of adventurous 3-gun Dremelers. So shotguns like the Mossberg 590 pump gun feature dual cartridge extractors, which they claim offer superior reliability for extracting spent cases out of the chamber, whereas the Beretta 1301 only has a single cartridge extractor. But despite the 1301 only having a single cartridge extractor, I have never had it fail to extract a cartridge, so apparently it works. Beretta's internal parts seem very precise and very well made. When I compare the internals of a 1301 to other shotguns like a Mossberg 590, for example, the 590's parts seem a lot beefier, but a bit less refined. The 1301 internal parts are polished, they're lightweight, a bit finer. The trigger pack has a plastic housing, presumably to save weight and realistically to save costs. Some people would prefer a more rugged metal trigger housing, but the plastic housing has not caused me any problems, despite the gun being bumped around and roughly dumped into buckets, etc. during 3-gun competitions. So some people might be asking, so which Beretta 1301 should I get? You've got Comp, you've got Tactical, now you have the Comp Pro, a lot of options here. So for pure usefulness and best value's sake, if money's a factor, I'd probably go with the 1301 Comp that I already have. For the ultimate performance, I think I might like to try out the new Comp Pro version, which has the fancy colored anodized frame along with a factory recoil reducing stock in it. As for what barrel length I'd go for, I personally went with a 24-inch barrel because in 3-gun everyone runs long magazine tube extensions anyway, so what's the point of having an 18-inch barrel if all of a sudden you've got a magazine extension tube hanging out to 24 inches or longer anyway. So it doesn't make sense to me to have a short barrel with a long extension hanging out in the front. I thought that always looked silly. For a factory competition gun, I love the fact that Beretta made the loading port oversized, along with the cartridge elevator and the fire controls. Given that shotguns are notoriously slow to reload, why don't all gun manufacturers make oversized and smoothed out loading ports standard? Most shotguns will have really sharp edges where in the loading port where you load new cartridges in, and to me this is just ridiculous, especially if you're trying to load a shotgun with freezing cold hands and adverse weather. So I really love the fact that the Beretta did take the time to smooth out and make that loading port oversized, smoothed out. That's a great thing that I think all shotgun manufacturers should have been doing 100 years ago. The 1301 Comp also has an oversized bolt release, and that's a mixed blessing, although I do like it. There have been a few times where I have accidentally activated the oversized bolt release when I was newer to the gun, and I activated the bolt release when I didn't mean to. But with practice, I have found the 1301 Comp's oversized controls easy to use, and they do help me operate the shotgun faster. The Beretta 1301 Comp trigger is light, it's crisp, and I really like that trigger. However, it may be a little bit too light for shooters with bad habits, so if you have poor firearms fundamentals, especially trigger discipline, so novice shooters with bad trigger discipline might be more prone to accidental discharges with the light competition trigger of the Beretta 1301 Comp. Conclusions. The Beretta 1301 is the best value semi-auto shotgun on the market today in terms of reliability and performance for the money. It might even be the best semi-auto shotgun period at any price. I've never had mine fail on me, and I can't see a functional reason to spend more and get a more expensive Benelli M4, except for maybe coolness factor. So for me, the Beretta 1301 Comp, or if you prefer the Beretta 1301 Tactical, seems like a great choice in balancing great performance, not terribly expensive, kind of like in between your really high-end Benelli M4 shotguns at $2,000 or $3,000 and your lower end, maybe your Turkish-made sub $500 semi-auto shotguns that might have reliability problems. So at around $1,000, the Beretta 1301 is right there in the middle of the price category and seems to give you all the performance at a very affordable